Your city, your news. From the campus of the University of Nebraska at Omaha, this is the Omaha News. Brought to you by the students in the College of Communication, Fine Arts, and Media.
Get ready, November 4th is just weeks away. We'll take a look at some of the issues facing voters here in Nebraska.
One of those issues in particular, Initiative 424, also called the affirmative action ban. Some are for it, some are against it. We'll show you both sides. Good afternoon, I'm Maureen Kaufman.
And I'm Carl Johnson. Nebraska's nearly always been a red state. But Democratic political activity has made people question Nebraska's true colors, beginning with the first ever Democratic caucus in February to recent developments in our 2nd District. Jared Benson is live in the newsroom to tell us more about it. Jared?
Thanks, Carl and Maureen. Bumper stickers, yard signs, and mudslinging debates on TV can mean only one thing. Election day is close. Races nationally as well as here in Nebraska are too close to call. This has Democrats beaming with excitement.
Election day is rapidly approaching, and it will be an end to what has already been a fascinating race. Students on UNO's campus seem to have a sparked interest.
You know, I was actually totally shocked the first week of school. We had tables set up all week, signing people up for our group, and we signed up over 150 new members in 1 week. People can't get enough of Obama, it seems. And especially on campus, I was really shocked.
This election is especially exciting for local Democrats. Many believe this is the first election in years Nebraska may go at least partially Democrat.
I think this is our best chance for us to be a significant part to a Democratic victory in the White House. I think it's one of the best chances we've had in a number of years to win the 2nd Congressional District. I think it's a great time to be a Democrat in Nebraska.
At the local level, there was a close race between Jim Ash and Lee Terry. Many like what Ash brings to the table.
Ash is a great guy. He's very smart, very passionate.
And would love to see him in Washington.
I think he would be a fiscal conservative, something that has been terribly lacking. If you're a fiscal conservative, you don't ring up a $10 trillion debt.
I think that Jim Ash is articulate. I think he's intelligent. I think that he wants to do what's good for the country.
Regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat, it's important to get out on Election Day and vote. The races are expected to be tight, so every vote counts. So get out and vote, and tune in and watch our coverage live on November 4th.
Lee Terry is the incumbent in the 2nd District race for Congress. He's been our congressman since 1998 and is a senior member on the Nebraska House delegation. Voter registration here in the 2nd District is split with a slight edge to the Republicans. Tricia Clark said they lead by only 1,000 voters.
Jared, how historically important would it be if Barack Obama was to win the 2nd District?
Well, it'd be the first time that's happened since the 1964 election, and the Democratic candidate was Lyndon B. Johnson. Republicans have had a stronghold here for quite some time. Reporting for the Omaha News, I'm Jared Benson.
And as he mentioned, make sure to tune back here November 4th at 7 p.m. We'll be bringing you the live election coverage as the numbers come in.
And we'll have several guest interviews to break down all the angles of this election year. You can also see an election night blog on our websites, theomahanews.com. After you vote, join us as we bring you our Vote 2008 coverage. A vote for will amend the Constitution of Nebraska. A vote against will not amend the Constitution in such a manner. That's some of the language on the ballot for Initiative Measure 424, a proposal that could change how programs geared towards certain demographic groups are administered. Reporter Laura Goodburn explains what this means for you when you go to mark your ballot.
When voters go to the polls on November 4th, they will be voting for more than just the president.
On the ballot this year is an initiative regarding affirmative action. The problem is that this bill is not easily understood. Voters need to be informed on what the initiative is actually proposing.
What is this bill proposing? Nebraskans United member David Kramer explains.
I think there's a subtle undercurrent that this is about eliminating affirmative action. And affirmative action is a term that really, if you ask 15 different people what it means, they'll have 15 different definitions.
In other states like California, where similar bills have passed, they've seen changes in the enrollments to universities.
And today, nearly 50% of the students coming out of their high schools are minority students. And yet still, 10 years later, the percentage of minority enrollment is down dramatically.
Programs to encourage women and minorities to look into mathematics or sciences would be illegal if this bill passed.
And so all these programs often did was encourage inclusion, and getting rid of those programs did have an effect in those states.
And so what I hope Nebraskans will ask themselves first is, what's broken that needs to be fixed by a constitutional amendment?
On November 4th, please know what you are voting for or against. For the Omaha News, I'm Laura Goodburn.
Opponents of this bill go on to say that this initiative will hurt domestic violence shelters and educational programs aimed at disadvantaged youth.
Proponents of the bill say it will end race and gender preferences and restore fairness in public employment, public education, and public contracting. Reporter Bill Dixon explains that side of the initiative.
Affirmative action has been controversial since its inception. However, a ballot initiative would ban the practice in the state of Nebraska. Initiative 424 would amend the state constitution, making it illegal to use preferences on a basis of race and gender.
Preference means that a person could be hired for a Nebraska state government job, admitted to a Nebraska state government-supported university, or given a contract by the Nebraska state government, or any of the political subdivisions of Nebraska.
Dr. Ball is a critic of affirmative action. He says it not only discriminates against white males, but Asians as well.
Preferences are unfair. No one has control over their race or sex, at least not in normal circumstances. And I have seen the effect of preferences on innocent people, primarily innocent white and Asian men.
As Election Day draws near, ballot initiative 424, the ban on affirmative action, continues to be a hotly debated topic. For the Omaha News, I'm Bill Dixon.
The Nebraska Civil Rights Initiative, an organization that supports Initiative 424, did not return our phone calls, but you can check out their website at nebraskacri.org to find out more about them and their efforts for this initiative. The Nebraska Secretary of State has sponsored 2 hearings on the affirmative action ban. They were in Lincoln and North Platte. The hearings are required by law to develop a public record on the reasons for or against the initiative.
The next one is Wednesday, October 22nd at 7 p.m. in the boardroom of the Omaha Public Schools Administration building at 3215 Cumming Street. Going to be busy on Election Day? That's no excuse not to vote. Mike Wilson reports on how you can cast your ballot now.
Tuesday, October 14th. It's not a day most associate with voting, but that's exactly what's going on at the Douglas County Election Office.
It was very easy to navigate.
Early voting, formerly known as absentee voting, is catching on in Omaha. Some people do it for convenience.
Actually, I came over because I had to clear up something about my registration status and change my address since we just moved. And then since the process was so smooth, I just decided to go ahead and get my ballot and vote now.
Some do it because of other commitments.
Yeah, I mean, I stay at home with the kids, and so I would probably have to take them with me. Either that or go very late in the evening, and I was afraid it'd be long lines and it'd be much more trouble going on Election Day.
Early voters had 2 options on how to cast their vote. They could either vote in person, or they could drop off their ballot in a ballot box, such as this one. Since 1999, Nebraska hasn't required voters to specify a reason for voting early. Being able to do so just to get it done has been met with praise.
Depending on whether I have enough information and I've made up my mind about the candidates, if I know enough about the candidates ahead of time, then I would do it ahead of time.
I might try to do this again. It was really convenient, yeah.
For the Omaha News, I'm Mike Wilson.
About 40,000 residents are expected to vote early in Douglas County. Early voting runs now through the Monday before Election Day.
Coming up next, her life ended tragically and too early, but you'll see how her memory is being honored here at UNO.
And later on in the Omaha News, how old is your makeup, and are you sure that's makeup in your cosmetics bag? We'll show you what else might be in there next.
UNO Television.
Students work with professionals who have all kinds of experience in the industry.
Lights, camera, action. Literally.
Get paid while you learn more about the TV business.
Work on all kinds of productions.
My friends who worked on TV crew last semester are now working part-time at local stations.
Working on TV crew is a great experience.
UNO Television. Student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
Most local television news only gives you brief headlines about issues that may be important to you. But for more than 10 years, only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information about issues that really matter to Nebraskans. I'm Kathy Wyatt, and it's my privilege to present those issues for your consideration. Join me on the campus of UNO in a program we call Consider This, every week on the Knowledge Network.
If your days get out of control, reset your attitude by setting your radio to KVNO, Classical 90.7. Discover your own personal oasis of serenity on KVNO, Classical 90.7. Drugs, crime, prostitution, hunger. Visit yesomaha.org and donate to Youth Emergency Services. Help take homeless kids off the streets before something else does.
It has been less than a year since Brittany Williams was killed while ordering at a fast food drive-thru. A scholarship in honor of her memory has nearly reached $20,000. Aaron Cox shows us how it reached such a high amount so soon.
Within a tragedy,
we all miss Brittany dearly,
comes a victory.
We were very grateful for the outpouring of support for this scholarship. It was truly a collaborative effort from members of the community, members of the campus community, such as Brittany's friends, her professors, and so forth.
The scholarship fund, established in memory of Brittany Williams, a UNO student shot to death while going through a fast food drive-thru earlier this year, has reached endowment level.
The advantage of an endowed fund is it will exist forever, so there will always be a Brittany Williams Memorial Scholarship.
University President James Milliken started the Memorial Scholarship with a $5,000 donation in hopes that it would be matched.
Goodrich students did fundraising. Brittany's sorority did fundraising. Several of us on the faculty contributed, and the $5,000 was matched.
Goodrich Director Jerry Cedarblum says the committee is in the process of selecting the first recipient for the Memorial Scholarship.
$500 a year, but maybe going up with more donations.
Brittany was the first in her family to go to college, and although her dream was cut short, her memory lives on through this scholarship. For the Omaha News, I'm Aaron Cox.
The goal of the scholarship is to provide a full tuition award to the recipient, but more donations are needed to make it possible. To make a donation, call the University of Nebraska Foundation at 502-0300.
Nebraska was the last state to pass a safe haven law. It went into effect on July 18th and so far has been used 10 times, and a total of 18 kids have been dropped off at area hospitals. The latest was a 13-year-old boy from Michigan, the second case of a child from another state. Reporter Ashley Gresh shows us what one state senator thinks.
This safe haven law has been utilized by families in distress to find a safe place for children when the family dysfunction rises to a significant level of distress.
Voices for Children Executive Director Kathy Bigsby Moore expressed concern that with no age limit, parents would turn in older children that were difficult.
They really took out all protections and provisions and just said anyone may leave any child at a hospital and they will not be charged with abandonment.
State Senator Brett Ashford says that there was purposely no age limit on the law.
I don't think it's at all hard to understand why our legislature would expand the traditional infant safe haven law to include children of all ages.
We believed that safe haven laws diverted parents from the appropriate systems that are in place for them to relinquish children.
While the law was created to get children out of unhealthy living situations, there's a lot of concern about what happens to children after they've been left in the hospital.
As of yet, no new guidelines have been added to the Safe Haven law. For the Omaha News, I'm Ashley Grass.
Senator Ernie Chambers has urged Governor Dave Heineman and state senators to call a special session to adjust the law. Governor Heineman said it's not necessary. The legislature reconvenes in January.
You want to look good, so you put on makeup. But did you know your makeup could be the reason you have breakouts or even a rash? Dermatologists say messy makeup can lead to infection, allergic reaction, and even acne. Jessica Burnell shows us what advice the experts have.
When you think of expiration dates, makeup is probably not the first thing that comes to mind.
No, I did not know that makeup had an expiration date.
Experts say not to buy more makeup than needed since it does go bad.
Cosmetics only have a certain amount of shelf life.
Most makeup has a shelf life of about a year.
From the time you open it, the lifespan and effectiveness decreases and bacteria increases.
Bacteria can form sometimes immediately, especially as you're applying the makeup. You have to be very conscious when you're applying the makeup not to keep your fingers in, especially when you're using liquid makeup.
It may be painful for many women to throw out expensive products, but by not doing so could have consequences.
When I do wear makeup, like on a Friday or Saturday night, I will start breaking out like on that Sunday or Monday, and it's probably is because it's expired because I don't wear it very often.
So what can you do to prevent bacteria in your makeup?
Clean it on a regular basis. Don't share it with anyone, and if you do, make sure to disinfect it and clean it really good because you can transfer that bacteria.
When you're putting on makeup, you can use little throwaway makeup sponges.
Experts say if your makeup looks old, changes texture, or has an unusual odor, it is probably time to throw it out. For the Omaha News, I'm Jessica Burnell.
Experts also say you should smell your makeup. If it has an unusual odor, it probably contains bacteria. If you have any questions concerning your skin or the makeup you use, contact your dermatologist or local cosmetics store.
Up next, the workforce, taxes, spending, and buying power. No, we're not talking about the stock market, but the economic impact immigrants have on the state of Nebraska.
It's a calculator, alarm clock, music player, and camera, your cell phone. Just how much of a difference has the cell phone made in your life? We'll show you. Stay tuned, you're watching the Omaha News.
Take a look at UNO and you'll find a school that can pretty much be everything to everyone. We have that big city feel and a sense of community that creates a close, friendly campus. Our professors and resources contribute to our great reputation in the city and the region. So whether you're just starting out, transferring, earning a degree online, or choosing a new path in life, you'll be able to find what you want.
Hello, Mav fans. I'm Tori Pantalian. Join me each month to catch all the news on all the sports at UNO. Watch Maverick Sports right here on the Knowledge Network.
Nebraska's immigrant population, economic and fiscal impacts. That's the name of a report released today by several UNO researchers. The report tells us what effects immigrants have on the state's economy. Here to tell us what this report means is Dr. Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado, a political science professor at UNO. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So $1.6 billion worth of the total production to Nebraska's economy, according to the researchers. Can you tell us more about this report?
Well, what it means is that the contribution that immigrants bring to the state economy is significant by any measure. It also helps to account for 12,000 jobs active in Nebraska's economy. But that's only the beginning of it, because when you think about how it multiplies, through the economy, all said and done, it brings actually over $13 billion annually into the state coffers, and perhaps as many as 80,000 jobs annually.
Okay, so who is going to look at this report, and who will be able to use this information if it's available?
Well, we want this information to get into the hands of as many people as possible, but we're specifically targeting legislators, community leaders, local elected officials, and people who are in the positions to make decisions about how to interact with the growing immigrant community in Nebraska.
Can you tell us about some of the research, like what would happen if the immigration portion of the labor force were not available?
Well, there's no magic bus that's going to come and take them all away, but we could possibly imagine that Nebraska could lose a portion of that population. And what we've seen, because they filled jobs in meatpacking and construction and hotel sectors of the economy, that it would begin to have a negative impact on the economy. So we're hopeful that we can maintain the levels of labor force that we have in the state so we can continue to have a vibrant economy.
So why does it not differentiate between legal immigrants and undocumented immigrants?
Well, that's a function of the data that we were able to get from the U.S. Census. We are now using what's called a community survey, which is an update of the census, and it doesn't differentiate residents based upon whether they're here legally or illegally. It only makes a designation whether they're native-born or foreign-born.
Well, thank you, Dr. Benjamin Alvarado, for sharing your time with us.
My pleasure, Maureen.
Stay tuned. You're watching the Omaha News on the Knowledge Network.
UNO Television.
Students work with professionals who have all kinds of experience in the industry.
Lights, camera, action. Literally.
Get paid while you learn more about the TV business.
Work on all kinds of productions.
My friends who worked on TV Crew last semester are now working part-time at local stations.
Working on TV Crew is a great experience.
UNO Television. Student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
Breathtaking. Electrifying. Inspiring. Award-winning documentaries produced by UNO Television offer you a window on the history of Omaha and the world. Beginning with the acclaimed 2-hour documentary on the history of Omaha, If These Walls Could Speak, UNO Television has developed a reputation for producing high-quality programs that explore, educate, and enlighten. These outstanding productions can be part of your home video collection. For information about purchasing VHS or DVD copies, call 554-2516 or visit our website at unotv.unomaha.edu.
A telephone ring is no longer just a telephone ring. These days, you can have just about anything you want as your phone ringer and do just about anything you want with your phone. Adam Rosen tells us how these devices help people reach out and touch someone.
Technology has grown in leaps and bounds over the past few decades, but none has grown more than the advancements in cell phones and communication devices, which now practically permeate every college campus in the United States today.
I have the LG Voyager through Verizon. I got it, I don't know, back in March. So it's been pretty good so far. I've got 2 games on it right now. I've got Verizon's version of Sudoku and then Text Twist Turbo. It has the mobile internet. You can text, play games. It's got the navigator on it, which comes in really comes in handy with my job because I drive a lot.
I have the Motorola Razr in the fashionable pink. The 2 main things I love doing are texting and using my alarm clock to wake me up in the morning because I can set like 7 of them.
I use it to call people and text people, and I can like send picture messages with it. It like slides open so you can text that way, so I guess it's faster, but I don't really use that part.
This year marks the 25th anniversary of the first commercial wireless phone call in the United States, while new innovations in cell phone technology continue to grow.
Older cell phones over the past 25 years have had 1 or 2 extra added features, such as picture messaging, text messaging, or a portable MP3 player to listen to your music on the go. Newer phones like this Moto Q9M from Verizon allow you to do all that, as well as browse the internet and download programs from your computer, which leads us to wonder what we'll see in the next 25 years. For the Omaha News, I'm Adam Rosen.
The first commercially available cell phone was the Dynatac by Motorola, which weighed an amazing 30 ounces, the same weight as a regulation volleyball. It costs around $3,500. Join us October 29th as we get closer to Election Day and continue to bring you our Vote 2008 coverage.
And November 4th, we'll be live at 7 p.m. bringing you the latest results and more. For all of us here, thanks for watching the Omaha News on the Knowledge Network. Have a good evening.